to a class. You see it has a little person with a plus sign, where it's, and then if you put your mouse, your hand over, it says add people. To the left of that, there's a little thing that says call layout. So if you click on that arrow and you choose window view, you can put anybody down at the bottom, and then the rest of them will all be listed across the top. And so I think doing that, you'd be able to keep a larger version of me. Not that you necessarily want to, but it might not be a bad idea. Let me see what grid view does here. Oh, grid is what I had before. Okay, that doesn't really
Mr.
work
John,
very
someone
well.
muted me.
Somebody muted you.
Yeah, it says on the top when someone mutes you, another person muted you.
Okay, guys, you need to not do that to each other, please. That is not appropriate. If I do it, that's okay, because I might need to keep everybody quiet, or especially somebody who keeps making noise where their stuff is. Yeah, see, I can do it.
No.
I'm not sure who it is. So, can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, I can unmute myself.
Yeah, go ahead. Well, I can hear you, so you're not muted.
Yeah. I was muted.
Oh, so you did that already, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Looks like we got everybody here now. All right. So let's go ahead and get started with our math. All right.
I don't know what lesson.
And we'll check the practice for math. Have you guys checked through your envelopes and things yet? Has anybody opened their envelope yet that you got from your parents?
No.
I did.
Did you find the candy and mints in there?
Yep.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Good.
My
Okay.
goodness.
Mr. Jones?
Hopefully your parents didn't take the candy and mint out, and
Mr.
eat it
Jones?
themselves. But who called my name?
Nazar. I
Nazar.
put the math lesson into the envelope.
Okay, but you guys aren't supposed to do that. We've been checking him every day, so don't put the math. We're checking him at home. There's no reason to. And I can't get that until Nazar tomorrow, Nazar. So I'll have to check it myself. Did you put the practice in there as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't put math. Hold on, please. Let me finish. Don't put math. Don't put your spelling pretest. Don't put anything that we've been checking, like your quizzes for science. Please stop interrupting me, whoever that is. Okay. So please don't put any of that stuff in the envelope, because I won't need that, because we're already grading it together. So,
Okay.
all right. So yes, Alina, what?
I did the same thing.
Hey, you guys should know this by now. We've been grading them together during this class time, and why you would return them, I have no clue whatsoever. Unless it was one that you had a correction on, that would be fine. That's not a problem. But even for the corrections, by the way, you guys have corrections. You can go back to the video and check it on the video, and then just do the correction after you do the correction, check it yourself. And then tell me how many you got right after it. But you can turn those in. I don't have a problem with you turning those in. So I'll have to check those now on my own, and when I can't get to them until tomorrow, because we're waiting 24 hours just to make sure that you guys don't have any germs that we can catch. So we're in good shape otherwise. All right. Well, for those of you that do have it, for those of you that don't, go ahead and turn your sound down so that you can't hear the answers for the practice. And then I'll wave my hands so that you can see that we're ready. And so practice letter A is going to be 2/3, B 1/2, and C 5/6. All right. So I'll go down one at a time, and I'll ask you if you have a check mark or not. I would expect you probably do. So, all right, let's start with Elizabeth.
Yes.
Was that a yes, Elizabeth? All I heard was shh.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so Elizabeth, yes. Okay, Alina.
No.
Okay, Yuri.
No.
Okay, Daliana.
Yes.
Okay. Nathan.
No.
Aegis.
Yes.
Okay, Sophia.
No.
Okay, Angelica.
No.
Um, Nazar.
I don't have it.
That's right. Estelle.
What were we just doing right now?
We just corrected the practice for lesson 98.
I didn't do it.
Why?
I'm a little bit behind.
Oh, got you. That's okay. Just check it when you get a chance to watch that video, the video from today, and you can just check it on your own and let me know if you got a check mark or not. All right. Elijah.
No.
Schlot. Not, probably not here. Okay. Ella.
Yes.
Okay. And David.
David's not here. He left.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah.
And maybe he'll come back in a second. Thank you for telling me. All right. Well, let's go ahead and check the lesson itself. If you didn't do the lesson, just hold on for a minute. You don't have to turn the sound down, because I doubt you're going to memorize all the answers anyway. So here we go. Number 1 is half mile. Number 2, April 4th, April 4th, 2070, 2070. Number 3, and you have to have, by the way, on that, you have to have the year April 4, 2070, because you can't just say, you just can't say it without the year is what I'm saying. All right. Number 3 is 1.13. 4A is 10, B is 50, 5 is 100, 6 is 2 quart, 7, the answer is B, 8, the answer is 2, 6, and it reduces to, I'm sorry, 5, 6. So 2, 6, 5, 6 minus 2, 6 is 3, 6, which reduces to 1/2. Okay, 9A is 3/4, and B is 75%. Number 10 is 56 millimeters. Number 11 is equal. 12 is A. 13 is 3/8. 14 is 3. 15, A is 4, and B is 2/3. Okay, any questions?
Mr. Jones,
Okay, that sounded like Angelica. Go ahead, Angelica.
what was number 2, 3, and 4?
2 was April 4th, 2070. 3 was 1.13. 4A was 10, and B was 50.
Mr. Jones?
Okay, that sounds like, I don't know who.
Daliana.
Okay, go ahead, Daliana.
Can you repeat 14?
14 was 3.
Mr. Jones. Can you repeat number
Okay,
8?
hold on. So, do you have another question, Daliana? Or you muted your microphone, so no. Okay, Ella, did you have a question?
Yeah. What was number 8?
Okay, what was your question? What's that?
What was number 8?
All right, number 8 was, you would have had the fraction that was equal to 1/3 with a denominator of 6 was 2, 6. That's the first part. And then when you subtracted, you should have had an answer that was 5, 6 minus 2, 6 equals 3, 6, but then reduce it to 1/2.
Mr. Jones here.
Okay, who is that? Yuri?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I did lesson 97 instead.
97 was due last Friday. We checked that last Friday. You did 97 twice?
Yeah.
Okay, you didn't recognize any of the questions being the same, huh? What's that? That's fine. When we get to it, just tell me you have to do it then instead. All right. So any other questions on 1 through 15? Okay. All right. Let's go to number 16 then. Number 16 is 1/2. 17 is 3/4. 18 is 3 7/10. 19 is $22.95. 20 is 40,848. That's 40,848. 21 is $2.45. 22 is 206,380. That's 206,380. 23 is 85 cents. 24 is 90 minutes. And 25 is 2:40 p.m.
Mr. Jones, this is
Okay, 1 second. Okay, Angelica, go ahead.
what was number 16 and 17?
16 was 1/2 and 17 was 3/4.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, any other questions?
Mr. Jones, what was 16 and 18?
Did you say, hey, somebody is eating something or doing something right next to the microphone? It keeps hitting the microphone. It keeps making sounds. So if you have a snack, that's fine. Just pull it away from where the phone or whatever you're using is so that it won't pick up on the microphone so easily. All right, so say those again. What numbers?
16 and 18.
16 was 1/2. 18 was 3 7/10. Poor Lena, you're stuck at home for your birthday, aren't you? Are you guys having a birthday cake? I think you're muted, actually. There you go. So are they going to do a birthday cake for you today?
They already did.
Oh, they already did? Well, that's nice. Did you do it yesterday? Oh, that's nice. Got to enjoy a little bit of cake ahead of time. So, all right. Any other questions then? Yes. All right. Let's go ahead and get the grades for it then. All right. So, Elizabeth, what did you get?
24.5.
Okay. Alina?
I didn't have it.
Okay, that's fine. You just have to remind me. I can't remember everybody who said it. Yuri? You don't have yours, right? Eliana. Eliana, go ahead.
22.
Okay. There's Nathan.
20.
Who is it that has food right there? Because I can hear you guys eating. And Tejas, can you put yours down a little bit? All I can see is the top of your head.
Nah.
Oh, because you know
Yeah,
why?
no.
His computer is higher than his chair.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, and
You need to
it's
get
going
some
to be
telephone
hard
books
for
and have
him
him
to
sit
be higher. He can't be higher.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It's all right. I can still hear him, so it's not a problem. Tejas, what was your grade? Tejas, what was your grade?
I didn't do it. What?
Okay.
You didn't-
Sophia?
19.
Okay, correction on that. Angelica?
23.
Thank you. Nazar?
Didn't have it.
Okay, and then Giselle? Didn't have yours, right? And Elijah?
24.5.
Okay. And then Scott? Not there probably, right? He's not there.
Mr.
Right.
Jones, you should yell
Yes,
at Tejas
ma'am.
for not doing his 98 math.
Yell at Tejas.
Yeah, he needs
Tejas,
to
why
have
didn't you
some
do your
time.
lesson 98? What's wrong with you?
What? Now you can.
Come on.
Now you listen.
Did
Get
you
it done next time.
He's gonna do
You
it
had
today.
all weekend. Yeah, well, all weekend you're stuck in the house. What else do you have to do? Is that good enough?
Yeah, and he doesn't respond.
Okay. All right. Okay, so Ella, what was your?
23.
And then David.
I put mine in the envelope.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you for telling me. I don't see you, David. Why don't I see you? It's fine. All right. So here we go. Let's look at your next lesson, and we will get started on that. Reducing mixed numbers. All right. Reducing mixed numbers. Some of these lessons you'll find are basically pretty simple in comparison to what we've already done, because they're basically just adding a very little bit to what we've already done. And so in this one, that's kind of one of those ideas. When you reduce a mixed number, what you're actually reducing is only, if you look at this, there's 2.5. Actually, that's already a reduced one. 2 and 3, 6. The only part you're going to reduce, the only thing you really can reduce on anything is the fraction part. And so if you think about the fraction part on this, that's only 3/6. So what would the reduction for 3/6 be, everybody?
1, 2, and
1/2. The answer, yeah, so the answer would be then not just 1/2. You got to be careful not to do that, but you have to make sure you put the whole number with it. So it'd be 2.5 as the reduced fraction. Now, what they have you doing is they have you adding numbers together. If you look at your first example, or your second example there, they have 4 and 5, 6 minus 1 and 1, 6. Okay, now this is pretty simple to do. The whole number gets subtracted with the whole number. The fraction gets subtracted with the fraction. So the whole number part then, 4 minus 1 is equal to what? Everybody?
3.
3, okay? So we have that as part of our answer. So now the fraction, 5, 6 minus 1, 6 is equal to, let's pick on
4,
somebody
6.
in particular. I said somebody in particular, but it's going to be Angelica. So what would it, 5, 6 minus 1, 6 be? So Angelica, 5, 6 minus 1, 6. Maybe she's not there. I can't hear her if she is. How about you, Yuri?
4, 6.
4, 6. Okay. So then 4, 6 can be reduced because they're both even numbers. And if you use your rules of divisibility, both of these are even. They can both be divided by 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. And then 6 divided by 2 is
3.
3. So you end up with 3 2/3. All right. So any questions on that, how that works exactly? Now, if you have your, make sure you have your microphone on if you wanted to ask me a question so that I don't miss you. All right. So here we go. I am going to then turn my camera off for a moment, and I'll write out your problem for you. And then you guys will get a chance to try it yourself to see how you do. Instead of, if you can show me, that's fine. I don't see, a lot of people don't have their projectors on, it looks like. So that's fine. You don't have to. I'll just show you the answer after about 35, 40, 50 seconds or a minute or something like that of this problem. All right. All right, there you go. I never turned my camera off, apparently. There is your problem, so you can get that.
Mr. Jones, I can't see.
Yes.
You're
Wait, scoot it over a little bit. Oh.
How's that?
I can't see you
Good.
at all.
I don't know why, because I don't have my camera off. Let me turn it off and turn it back on real quick and see if that helps. Does that help? I'm back on.
No.
All right, then I'll read it to you. So listen as I read it. 7 and 7 over 70. So that's the first one. 7 and 7 over 70 plus 3 and 28 over 70.
Mr. Jones.
Yes. Move it over to your right, Elijah.
Mr. Jones.
You got to reduce your fraction. Don't forget to reduce your fraction.
Mr. Jones?
Yes, who's that?
Yuri.
Okay, Yuri, what's up?
What are you doing?
Mr. Jones.
No, that doesn't work, Elijah. That's incorrect.
Mr. Jones.
That's incorrect.
Mr. Jones. Am I correct?
That's incorrect, Daliana. I can't see yours, Nathan. Hold on. Let's see if I can move somebody out of here. Nathan, your camera's not on.
Mr. Jones, do you see mine?
Yes, you are correct, David. You are correct.
Mr. Jones.
And Elijah, you are correct now.
Mr. Jones, can you see me?
Is it on now?
All right, you are correct, Daliana.
Mr. Jones, is it on now?
And Nathan, you are correct. Elizabeth, have you gotten yours yet? Let's see. Nope, that's not correct, Elizabeth. Check your. It's not. Did you put division or addition on that? Correct, Nazar.
Mr. Jones, can you see mine?
Who is that? Sophia? Hold on one second. Let me find you. Hold on a second. Okay, so let's see. Yes, you are correct, Sophia.
Okay.
Yuri, have you shown me yours yet?
What?
Have you shown me yours yet?
I tried to. But
Go
the
ahead and
answer
try it
was
again.
10.5. The answer was 10.5. That's
That is correct, and I'll show you here. So you see, if you add those together, you get 10 and 35 over 70. 35 over 70, 35 is half of 70. Now some of you are like, how are we supposed to know that? Well, take 35, divide it by 70. Well, actually, if you divide them both by 35, you get the answer of 1/2. 1/2 would be your final answer. Any questions about that? Okay, all right. So let's go ahead on to English, onto language. We have no other questions about it. And then we will move on. Did anybody watch the devotional opening video this morning yet?
No, I did.
You did, okay. So what do you remember me saying, Giselle, about language?
Never mind, we didn't watch it.
Oh, you didn't? Did anybody watch it? Okay. So now I don't know what time you guys get up or anything like that, and you don't have to watch it first thing in the morning, of course.
I woke up
Who
5
said
minutes ago. Nathan.
Okay, so Nathan, what did you remember me saying about language?
About the diorama? Or was
That's
that
not
for-
language, that's reading.
Oh, so we're going to check it this morning because I don't remember you saying anything about language in the.
I did. I said that there were quizzes this week for language that you guys will have. So in your packet today, you will have a quiz that you need to take. It's quiz number 10, I believe, or 9. Let me double check. I think it may be. I'll let you know in a second. That's spelling that will work well for you. You have 2 quizzes in there. Oh, it's quiz 5. So you guys will be taking quiz 5 today. And I will tell you right now that there are a total of 10 commas on that quiz. Okay? So this is not open book, but you should be able to figure out where they go. There are 10 commas altogether because each comma is worth 10 points for 100% altogether. All right, so that's going to be something you need to make sure that you are aware of and paying attention to.
I have a question.
And so, who's that?
Nazar.
Okay,
Do
Nazar,
we
what's
send
up?
a picture of it to you, or do we just leave it in the packet?
Send me a
after we
picture,
finish
that'd
it?
be fine. Yeah, send me a
Okay.
picture, that would be fine. All right. Any other questions?
Yes, Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Daliana.
Go ahead.
So it's quiz 5.
That's correct. You do have a quiz 6 in there as
Okay.
well. And the quiz 6 will be taken probably tomorrow or Wednesday, but I'll let you know at that time.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? All right. So here we go. Let's go ahead and check what we had, what you were supposed to have checked, which was the semicolon stuff that we did. All right. That's page number 150. Supposed to do A and B. And you're supposed to do C as well, diagramming 1, 3, and 5 on Think A. All right, so here we go. We did a couple of these together, but we'll go ahead and I'll give you the answers anyway. For Think A, number 1, you should have a semicolon after harvest. For number 2, after reigneth. For number 3, after forever. For number 4, after seeming. For number 5, after firm. Number 6, after gentleness. Number 7, after kite. And number 8, after cheer. All right, now any questions on that part? Should have, yes, Yuri, what's your question?
What was would you repeat number 6?
Yeah, number 6, after gentleness.
Mr. Jones, would you
Yes,
this is Ella. Would you repeat it for number 2, 3, and 4?
2 was after reigneth. 3 after forever. And 4 after seeming. All right, any questions? All right, so let's go ahead and Think B then. On Think B, now this one you're supposed to choose either a comma if it already had a conjunction there or a semicolon if it didn't. And so number 1, you should have a semicolon after gladness. Number 2, you should have a comma after Lord. Number 3, you should have a comma after, a semicolon after silver. Number 4, a comma after eyes. Number 5, a comma after wine. Number 6, a semicolon after hand. Bless you. Number 7, a comma after countenance. And number 8, a comma after Lord. Now, any questions on that?
Okay, me and Sal are looking on pictures. He wants to delete a picture.
All right. I'm drawing for you the diagrams. This is number 1 here. All right, so here's the diagram for the first one. At the top, you have you, understood you, it's the subject. Pray, capitalized because it's capitalized in the sentence, and it's capitalized, it is the verb. That is the verb, it's pray. For is your FOR is your object, your preposition. And harvest is your object of preposition. And a good are both, right here, a good are both modifying harvest. And then at the bottom, you have God, and then will provide as your verb. Alina, you have a question?
Never mind.
Okay. Any other questions on that? All right. The second one, I'm not going to show you. I'll just show you where they are. On the second one, yesterday is your subject. That goes in the subject side where you is here. Is gone is your verb. So on that top part, is gone. Then you have your preposition of, I'm sorry, not preposition, but an adverb, forever. Just one thing coming off of that. In fact, I'll erase it. So forever, not just for, but forever. And then at the bottom, you would have tomorrow as your subject, comes as your verb, and then off of comes is another adverb, never. Tomorrow never comes. So yesterday is gone forever, tomorrow never comes. Okay, make sense? Any other questions on that? Any questions on that? Okay, the last one. This one I'm going to have to rewrite because this is a little bit more intricate. All right, your subject is man. Stands is your verb. Off of man, you should have two words, capital A, and then you have a prepositional phrase with, and then courage. So there you can read it, a man with courage. And then stands, and then firm is a adverb that describes stands firm. Then you have your, oh, you know what I forgot in that other one? An X in each one. There's an X on the blank in the middle between the two sentences. And then on the bottom, you have a little a coming off of coward is your subject. Runs is your verb. And then from conflict, write this in here. Might be a little difficult to see, but here's how it should look. You can check yours with that one. Pretty much the way it should look. A man with courage stands firm. A coward runs from conflict. And then, of course, in the middle, this should have been on each one of these. You should have an X right there in the middle. Okay? Any questions on any of those? All right. All right, so let's move on to our new thing. Now, this one's going to be a little bit more complicated, this part. We've done commas, we've done hyphens, we've done a semicolon, we've done colons, and now we get to one that's a little bit more confusing. I only know this from experience, okay? By the way, you guys will be having a test if you listened to this morning. We'll be having a test next week on this, and we'll count for the next quarter. So you want to make sure that you understand these things. All right. So look there on page 151. And as we check it there, or not check it, but let's go ahead and do underlining rule number 1. We'll have, let's have Giselle go ahead and read underlining rule 1.
Underline the titles of books, newspapers, and magazines.
Okay, underline the titles of books, newspapers, and magazines. Now, the examples they have there, the first one's a book, the second one's a newspaper, and the third one is a magazine, Reader's Digest. Now, if you don't know, if you're not familiar with these things, how are you going to know whether it's a book or whether it's a short story or whether it's an article or whether it's a magazine or anything like that? How will you know if you've never seen them before? Any possible answers?
Dictionary?
Google.
Well, you probably won't find these in dictionary. You might find some of the titles of the books if they're well-known books. But the way to know is ask somebody. If you don't know what it is, you can ask me if you can't find somebody who does know, somebody in your family. You could try Googling it. You probably would find that if you did Alice in Wonderland, you may find it as a book or as a movie. But I'll tell you, in this language book, you'll not find any movies written in the language book, only books. So you don't have to worry about that getting that confusion. So if it says that it's a book, or if it says on when you Google it, it says it's the title of a book, then you would know it's the title of a book. But sometimes that's not even easy. New York Times you might be familiar with. The Washington Post you might be familiar with. But other types of newspapers you may not. And then magazines are going to be a hard one because not very many people get magazines today as much as they used to. All right, so let's do underlining rule number 2. Alina, why don't you go ahead and read that one?
Underline the names of ships, trains, and planes.
Okay, so now you notice that the very first ship there is USS Lexington. USS part does not get underlined because if you look at a ship that is, by the way, USS, does anybody know what that stands for? Pretty straightforward, actually. It stands for United States Ship. So USS Lexington. In Great Britain, they have the letters HMS. Does anybody know what that stands for? Anyone want to take a guess? Well, it stands for either His Majesty's or Her Majesty's ship. So it's, in other words, they're saying it belongs to royalty, to the royal family. And of course, it would be Her Majesty's ship right now, HMS, and then whatever the name of the ship is. So the only part that gets underlined, though, is the actual name of the ship. And then on the second one, the spaceship, Discovery. What was the name of the ship that there were 2 spaceships that blew up or that people died in the space shuttle? Does anybody remember the name of any of them?
I know one.
Who is that? Go ahead, Nazar.
Voyager.
Yeah, Voyager, it was not one of them. No, that is not correct. That was not one that exploded anyway, that blew up. And yet, Columbia was one of them. And Challenger was the other one. They both started with C's. Challenger was the one that had the teacher in it back in the 1986, I believe it was, when it happened. And teacher Krista McAuliffe was on there. In that particular ship, by the way, they realized that the astronauts, even though it exploded on it as it was leaving the orbit of the Earth, it exploded in the upper atmosphere. But they realized that actually some of the astronauts were actually still alive even after the explosion because they were monitoring their heartbeats and everything. And they actually, as they were coming down, as the ship was coming down, they knew that some of them were alive. And so what they installed later was a parachute system for the cockpit of the vehicle, of the space shuttle. Never had to use the parachute, but that was installed because of that reason. And then the next one, which was the Columbia, that one exploded on re-entry into Earth's atmosphere. And they're pretty confident the reason why was because some of those tiles that they would attach to the ship to protect it from the friction of the Earth's atmosphere, some of those titles, you can come on in, Mrs. Smith. It's the interactive class. So some of those some of those tiles actually fell off during while they were taking off. And then when they were outer space, it didn't cause a problem until they came back in. And then they, yeah, you're fine. And then came back in, and then it overheated the inside of the vehicle, and it caused it to break apart and to explode upon reentry. In fact, they didn't even find all the pieces until just recently. I guess it was a couple of years ago. Texas had a really bad drought, and in one of the lakes that dried up, they found some pieces of the space shuttle Columbia. After it had, of course, after the lake dried up, they found those pieces there. So, all right. So how about rule 3? Nathan, why don't you go ahead and read that?
Underline the names of plays, films, sculptures, paintings, and other works of art.
Okay, so you see there, Our Town, which is a play written by Thornton Wilder, and then Blue Boy, a painting by Thomas Gainsborough, and then the Pieta, which is a sculpture that Michelangelo did. Now, the word "the," you notice the word "the" in there, and then the word in front of New York Times. The word "the" is not a part of the title, so you don't underline that part of the word. All right. So, on think A. Let's look at that really quickly, and let's go ahead and do those together. I'll call on each one of you, or one of you, to do this. So, for David, number 1, tell me what should be underlined there.
American Gothic.
Very good. American Gothic should be underlined. Okay. How about you? Let's see, Nazar.
National Geographic.
Very good. National Geographic is the name of the magazine. All right. Number 3, Ella.
New York Times.
Yeah, and that was in the example too. So New York Times, that should have been an easy one to recognize. New York Times. Now this one might be a little different for you to be able to grasp, but let's see if we can do this. Let's pick Daliana. Daliana, see if you can get number 4.
Robert E. Lee.
Okay. That is definitely underlined.
And Natchez Queen.
Very good. The Natchez Queen. Those are 2 steamboats that raced against each other. Those are the names of the boats. Let's go to, let's see. How about Sophia? Sophia for number 5.
Venice de Milo.
Yeah, the Venus de Milo is how we pronounce it in English. It's actually in Italian it would be Venus de Milo. All right, it's a Greek statue. Venus de Milo, we call it. All right, very good. Then number 6. Let's go to see who else we have here. Giselle, why don't you do number 6?
Mr. Slippy River Race.
Yes, Mr. Slippy River Race, which is a Patch the Pirate, and a very good one. I enjoy that one. It's got a lot of Southern drawl talk in it, and one of the main characters, the guy who's the bad guy, he has a really heavy Southern drawl in it. And in fact, a lot of people in that thing do. If you get a chance to listen to it, I don't know if you don't have it, but you could probably find it on YouTube to listen to it if you wanted to. Number 7. Let's see. Elijah, number 7. Which one do you think?
Slavs.
Yeah, Silas Marner, which is the title of the novel by George Eliot. And they tell you it's a novel, so that helps you to understand it. Let's see. Giselle, how about number 8?
Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, Romeo and Juliet. Does anybody know who wrote Romeo and Juliet? Go ahead, Nathan. Shakespeare, right. Shakespeare wrote Romeo and Juliet. And obviously he wrote the next one because it says the Shakespearean play Macbeth is a story of one man's thirst for power. And that would be, let's see. Who is that? Oh, yeah. Tejas. Why don't you go ahead and do that one?
Macbeth.
Macbeth. Very good. Macbeth. Shakespearean plays are not easy to read. When you get older, it'd be a little bit easier, but still not necessarily as exciting unless you really enjoy literature. Daliana, how about the last one there?
Great Expectations.
Yes, Great Expectations. Okay, another Charles Dickens novel. Can somebody tell me another Charles Dickens novel that was written? Does anybody know of one? Another Charles Dickens? Probably you do. You don't know. What's that?
A book?
I can't understand what you're saying. Try it again.
A book?
Can anybody understand what she's saying?
She's saying a book. A book.
Well, yeah, a book, right. It would be a book that he wrote.
Oliver Twist?
Oliver Twist. Very good. That's one. Another one would be, you guys have probably heard this one, A Christmas Carol. You know, with Scrooge and the ghosts of Christmas past and present and future. That was also written by Charles Dickens. All right, so let's look at the look closely now. Look closely there at the bottom, and it says two things. Do not underline the Bible or the books in the Bible. And they give you an example there. Genesis is the first book in the Bible. You don't need to underline them. Now, here's a question for you. Why do we have to underline them? Well, when we're writing it by hand, we have to underline it because we're already writing in something that's not the same all the time, or we're doing cursive. If you would normally see things in print, if you saw the title of a book in print, normally the way they do it, of course not your language book because they're trying to teach you about it, but normally the way they do it is they italicize it. Now, italics is something similar to, if you look on the bottom in number 2, it tells you, it says, when using a computer, put underlined words in italic type. Italics means the same as underlining. So Oliver Twist, you would underline it if you write it by hand. Oliver Twist, though, if you put it on a computer, you put it in italics to show that it should be underlined or that it is a book title. Okay? And so that's something to understand and take care of. So now, on the next page. All right. They're not using italics at all for these. They're trying to get you to understand yourself. So Think B says to decide which of the following selections are underlined correctly. Write the letter of the correct choice in the blank. And so you have the 2 choices there for each one. Then on Write C, it wants you to come up with the name of a book. Look, you have books there in your house. I'm sure you can do that. I'm sure as most of you come up with the name of a ship. If not, just Google one. Just put name of a ship. Probably most of you are familiar with some well-known ships out there. The name of a newspaper. Now, the New York Times has already been used twice, but I'm sure you can come up with some other ones. And then the name of a painting and the name of a magazine. All right? And so you can use whatever you need to be able to do that. Then on Remember D, it's a practice. Just underline the correct word that would fulfill that where the empty space is, or where the parentheses with 2 words are. Then also on Do You Recall, page 153, for word usage and for verb form. All right? Now, on the bottom there, in the punctuation, it says add the missing end marks and commas to these sentences. And so you're going to add those. Now, don't do the punctuation because that goes on to the next page. We'll do that tomorrow. All right, so word usage and verb form. So page 152 and 153, because we did 151, 152, 153 verb forms. Don't do the punctuation part at the bottom. All right, any questions about that? Yes, go ahead, Alina.
For right, we have to underline the word.
When you write it, yes, it says be sure to underline correctly. So yes, you should, because you're using these in sentences, and so as you write the sentence, you would underline things that are should be underlined. Okay. Any other questions?
No.
All right. One more quick thing. Reading. All right.
Okay.
Well, you'll get a chance to finish the book this week. You will find out when you read. By the way, every video I put out there, I expect you to be watching. Okay. It gives you good information, many times things that you need to know, or it may be just a reminder of something, but still it's something you need to be watching. So try to always start with devotions. Okay, devotions for today, there are 2 parts. I forgot to read you the story after I finished the first part, and then I realized it, and so I added a second part just to read you the story that's in our devotional book. But the other thing is that sometimes there are things that to remind you about things that you need to get done. Now, there are 1, 2, hold on. I only have 9 science fair projects turned in. That's it, 9. They were due 2 weeks ago. And you guys had an extra week that you could have worked on them. Now, I realize some of you had difficulty with, because the libraries were closed, although you shouldn't have waited till the last minute to go to the library in the first place. But if that's the case, that's fine. But you can still do your boards. You can still do certain things there. and some of you just made the mistake of waiting till the last minute. This is why I try to emphasize to you not to wait till the last minute, because things like that can happen. But there is another project that you need to do, and that is for the book report for reading, and that is your what's it called, the diorama. So the diorama is due by next Monday. Now, if you have a shoebox at home, that's great. You can use that, or a small box. That's fine. If you get something from Amazon, you can use those. You can make little people out of pieces of paper, pieces of cardboard. And I'm sure most of you probably have what you need to be able to do that, if not all of you. Be creative with it, but all you need to do on that is you need to make sure, and you'll hear this again on the devotional video, make sure you put a little card to describe what the scene is that you're depicting there. All right. Yes, I do look at the artwork a little bit. If somebody just draws something on the box, that's not going to fly. That's not going to be very good grade for your book report. So try your best to make sure it looks decent. I'm not expecting you guys to be great artists either. I don't want you to be Michelangelo's creating these little statues of people and doing the positions or whatever it is they're doing. But I do expect a little bit of work to go into this, and I understand that we are in a position where you might be limited for some reason. But I think most of us probably have something there you can use to be creative. In fact, maybe this will bring out your creative juices for you. You can make little paper figures. You can make little cardboard figures. If you have Lego people, like if you use Legos and you want to use a Lego person to depict a person, that's okay. But don't use Legos for the entire thing, okay? Just to help you to be able to depict the scene that you want to depict. I've read already for Wednesday the book that you are reading, of course, Forbidden Gates. That's chapter 9, and then chapter 10 will be the last chapter, and I will put that out. But you won't be able to see it until Wednesday. But I'm excited because every time I read these, it's only once every 2 years, so I start to remember things I didn't remember from before. And I think you guys will enjoy the book and enjoy the rest of the story. But you don't need to do it on these last 2 chapters. You don't have to wait to do it because you can take one of the scenes. Now, if you want to wait till the last 2 chapters, that's fine. But I think there's enough in there already that you can depict what you need to depict. Now, any questions about either one of those things I just said? Science fair or the reading project? All right. Well, if not, then go ahead and we'll hang up. And yes, who is that?
Sophia,
Hey, go ahead, Sophia.
I asked you before to check my my reports.
For what?
For my science fair. I told you in the pink folder, but it didn't look like you checked it.
Okay, I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about. For the science fair, you're talking about those things you handed in?
No, I didn't hand anything in yet.
So do I have them, you're saying?
No, before school closed, I asked you if you could check my thing. You said yes, but you didn't give it back to me.
Okay, so what thing is that?
It's the egg drop experiment, the paper.
No. What is it that you gave me that I was supposed to look at? That's what I was asking.
The rough draft.
Okay, that's what I was asking you. Asked you if it was a rough draft. You said no. But yeah, hold on a second. Let me see. All right, so hold on. I have Brianna's, Nathan's, Katie's, David's, Elizabeth's, Angelica's. What did you give it to me in, Sophia?
In my pink folder. In my pink folder, I asked you if you could check it.
Oh, that's right. It's in your desk, though, right? Or your locker? Okay. Let me get it out first, and then I'll look at it really quickly. Hold on. Because is it in your locker or your desk? Do you remember?
In my desk.
All right. Hold on 1 second. Let me see where you are. I have a chart here. All right. I know. Let me check real quick. Hold on.
Alina.
Yeah, Sophia, there is no pink folder in your desk. Yeah, there is no pink folder in your desk, Sophia. Could it be anywhere else? Could it be in your locker?
No, because I took everything.
You took everything?
Yeah.
Did you take that with you too, possibly?
No.
You don't have the pink folder with you?
Yes, I do, but I gave it.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Never mind.
Is it there or no?
No, not on my desk.
So it was in the pink folder though, right?
Yeah.
But do you have the pink folder there with you?
No.
Okay, so which locker are you?
At the very where the sixth graders are, at the very when you go to the wall, it's at the very beginning.
Top or bottom?
Top.
Okay, 1 second, let me check. All I have, Sophia, is this, which has a watermelon, half a watermelon on it, and this one, which is, I think they're both notebooks that you took notes in.
Yeah, they're notebooks.
Yeah, they're not, I don't see it anywhere. So you sure you didn't take it with you? Because it's not in here, anywhere at school at least. Because you were sitting in the very back, all the way on the right, as far as your desk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's nothing in that desk at all. You said you had cleared it out, right?
Yeah.
So that would have been last week that you cleared it out, but I don't see anything around where I am that has
Mr. Jones.
that. Yeah.
My dad brought it when he brought
This
the
morning?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you didn't tell me that. We can't get that stuff until tomorrow because we have to let it sit for a day because of the coronavirus stuff. But as soon as I get it tomorrow, I'll go ahead and look at it and I'll let you know how things are in it, okay?
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and hang up. Remember, don't hang on here and do a whole bunch of comments. Thank you for that musical thing. Appreciate it. But don't hang out here and do chat room because it'll come up on everybody else's phone. So if you want to go to a different chat room, that's fine. But otherwise, have a wonderful day. And I'll put this recording up. Hey, by the way, let me let you know something. This recording, sometimes I've had a hard time getting it to actually load up onto the YouTube channel. I don't know why, but if I do, it's always here on the chat room. You can always go back and look at it on the chat room. So it'll be there for 30 days. So that should be plenty of time to do anything or get any information off of it that you need. All right?
Mr. John.
Yes. Is that Alina?
No, Sophia.
Oh, Sophia, go ahead.
On my mom's phone, can you text me Alina Burlikoff's phone number? I want to ask her a question.
Okay. Alina?
She is mute. She's muted.
I know, but she can hear me. So, Alina?
What?
Did you hear
Yes?
what Sophia was asking?
No, I don't think.
She wanted to know if I could text her your number. And so would you allow me to do that?
Mr. Jones, I have her on Skype for texting.
Okay. You mean like the chat room?
Yeah. The separate
but that
one,
means-
though.
Oh, okay. Then you can go ahead and send it to her if you want. Or you can, whatever you need to do then to get a hold of her. All right. Any other questions?
No.
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna hang up. All right, have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow. Make sure you get your work done. Bye.
Bye.